In this video, I'm going to show you the exact diet that my client Mikey started off with to go from this at 205 pounds to this 28 pounds down 6 months later without giving up rice, without giving up carbs or family meals or vacations. So, a little bit of background on Mikey. He had a 4-month-old new dad building up his business as a dentist. So, obviously, very busy. He had been an athlete his whole life, so obviously very active, did some cool things like century rides on the bike, but just never really had his nutrition dialed in and didn't know what to do. The things that he had done in the past, he felt like he just needed to be more disciplined, but trying to be more disciplined at something that doesn't work and you're not sure what you're really doing doesn't really make sense. So he figured, hey, I've been trying to be more disciplined at this thing. Now I think I just need a new system that's going to teach me how I can get in shape and lose the weight that I want to lose, that I've never been able to lose, but with my new life as a dad, because I don't have hours and hours to spend in the gym or anything like that. Also, just a disclaimer, this diet was made specifically for him. So while, it is going to help you to look at this for inspiration, and I'm going to explain the thought process behind it, this is it's not really for you, right? But hopefully this helps. So to start off, he was 205 pounds, waist was about 35 inches, and he's 5'9" and 30 years old. And when I'm building out these diets, these are some important questions that I want to ask, because at the end of the day, like, anybody can tell you to eat tilapia and broccoli, and I'm sure you'll lose plenty of weight, but you have to enjoy the diet as much as possible, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're never going to stick to it long term, right? And the biggest thing is you don't want to just think about how you're going to lose the weight. How are you going to lose the weight and put yourself in a position to maintain it long term? So you got to like what you're eating, and then you have to understand, how do I move different foods in and out of the way so that I can eat things that I like sometimes. Sometimes I'll go for the easy things and still understand how I can go out to restaurants and go on vacation. During that 6 months, he went on vacation to Hawaii with his family and all kinds of stuff. Plenty of meals out, plenty of cheat meals. But this is one of my favorite questions to ask, which is just, what are your top 5 foods for protein, carbs, and fats? I want to try and include as much food that you enjoy as possible. So here, you said steak, ground beef, ground turkey, eggs, salmon, carbs, rice, number 1, Asian, potatoes, number 2, bread, fruit, veg, pasta, and then fats. He likes avocado, butter, peanut butter, and avocado oil. Obviously, this is an important question. What are you going to not eat no matter what, even if I told you to? Black olives, blue cheese, and goat cheese. And an important thing to note is that when he's in a bad mood, he does not turn into food. And he feels like carbs can make him lethargic, but usually it's because he has a tendency to overeat. So these are important things to know when you're building out your diet, or if I'm building out somebody else's diet, because you want to think mentally, how do you respond to food? What do you enjoy? Are you going to binge on something if I give it to you, and so on? But these are the calories and macros that we started him off with. So because he feels like he didn't respond as well to carbs, I moved some of those calories from carbs to fats. But basically, an easy way to come up with it is multiply your body weight times 12, and then use roughly around that number, and then 1 gram to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. So moving on, meal 1 that I had him on was meal 1. He didn't really like to eat breakfast, so I didn't want to give him something big. So we just had 1 Oikos 000 yogurt, which is 15 grams of protein, some cashews and banana. So a good mixture of protein, carbs, and fats, but easy to get down. Also, it didn't matter if he ate it and split it up throughout the day, or, however he wanted to do it. The most important thing is that he ate everything on this meal plan every day. Second thing was, we had 2 options. Since he said ground turkey is one of his favorites, so we had 200 grams of ground turkey, 93.7, with 180 grams of cooked white rice and 100 grams of avocado. Or he had the option of the same ground turkey with 2 ballpark burger buns, so you can make burgers, obviously, with patties, and then the same avocado, which I just didn't list here. But those are the 2 options. And I like to give options just because the point of the meal plan is to have structure in your diet. But if it's too structure and rigid, then you're less likely to follow it. And if I give you like a specific recipe, like you're going to get tired of it. So that's why it's not a specific recipe. I have a list of sauces and condiments and recipes that, you can use. So, that's the way that you want to think about it. Just trying to make what you are supposed to eat as good as possible. Once you have that mindset and then you add the flexibility in, everything is super easy from there. Third meal, 2 scoops of Legion Isolate protein powder with 3 chocolate rice cakes and 30 grams of peanut butter. This is kind of like a nice little snack. Sometimes if you enjoy, sweets, I might give you something like a popsicle or, some chocolates or whatever. Kind of just depends on you, but this is something that I felt that he would enjoy. And then for meal 4, we've got either 200 grams of flank steak or top sirloin steak with 180 grams of cooked white rice. And then also, I kind of cut it off, but for both this meal 4 and meal 2, 100 to 200 grams of green vegetables. And for the other meal 4 option, 200 grams of salmon, that's cooked weight, with 350 grams of creamer potatoes, that's raw weight. He said he liked potatoes. Potatoes are nice just because they are higher in volume. So if you are someone that feels hungry a lot, you don't want to eat something that's like lower in volume, like bread. Maybe you get like 2 slices of bread as opposed to, 10 or more ounces of potato, right? The potatoes are going to keep you more full, along with the vegetables. But this is pretty much a very simplified way of building out the diet. Obviously there's only so many things that I can choose from, that he enjoys, and also that he's probably going to be willing to eat every single day. But this is just the starting point, and from here you start, in my program, we'll teach you how you be flexible, like how do you eat different things, how do you switch different foods in and out of your diet, and how do you go out to eat and track those things so you can still enjoy time with your family. Because at the end of the day, that's what is important. You want to be able to still enjoy your life while being able to be healthy, to lose the weight, and get the results that you're looking for. But the meal plan is a good place to start off with because it gives you structure, gives you direction, not a lot of thinking, and then of course you're going to want to eat the things that you want to eat, and then it becomes up to you. But this is a diet that's made for him, like I mentioned. So not necessarily going to work for you, but hopefully it gives you some ideas, and maybe you can give it a try if you're around the same weight and you like these foods. But hopefully that was helpful. If you give it a try, let me know. If you feel like, this was super helpful, I want similar results, and I just want help, and I want you to do it for me, and you want to work with us, go back on Instagram, send me a message, and just send the word Lionhearted so I know that you've watched this video, and then we can talk a little bit about your goals and what it would look like for us to help you, or if we can't even help you. But hopefully that was helpful.